Hi, my name is Marty Levinson.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
To discover the identity of the real Marty Levinson, stay tuned to the Northtown News Magazine.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that lemon light city, sweet home Chicago. 2 is 4.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
And that was the real Marty Levinson. Hi, Avi Meyers here. Thank you and welcome to the Northtown News Magazine, a presentation of my entire technical crew, Sonny Hersh, and myself. Dial us up on the World Wide Web at www.ntnm.org. And now, if you go there, you'll actually be able to see our shows just a couple of days after they're on the air on the web, okay, in their entirety, thanks to Sonny's website and YouTube. And you'll get to see all kinds of fascinating people. Also go to caps24.org to find out all the latest stuff on community policing. And on that site, besides for that, you'll also be able to see the show we submitted last year for National Night Out. It is a pleasure and privilege to have somebody who you can actually watch, not just here, but on our website. The distinguished Secretary of State of the state of Illinois, one of the few people that's actually been an elected official for so many years that has avoided controversy that everybody likes. And in the words of Larry Sufferton, nobody even knows the name of the guy who's running against him. We're talking about Secretary of State Jesse White. How are you?
I'll be nice to see you. Glad to be on board, sir.
First of all, thank you so much, and we're so glad you can make it, and it's always a privilege and an honor to have you here. And, of course, you are actually up for re-election. They should really give you the job by acclamation. You know, I don't see why we should have an election, but the fact is that you know, you're still running a campaign, and you're doing you've done a lot to put new innovations and programs in the office of the Secretary of State since you started.
Well, thank you very much. One of the newest things that we've been able to do, Avi, is a program called Pick a Plate, where you can go on our website, www.cyberdriveillinois.com. That's www.cyberdriveillinois.com, and you can go to the Pick a Plate section of the internet or our website, and you can select the license plate of your choice.
Oh, wow.
See, what we've done in the past is that we'd give you a slip, and you'd say, let us hypothetically say you wanted News 1, 2, or 3. Any one of those license plates would satisfy you. And so you'd go on the website, your friend would want the same numbers, and he would use a slip of paper, fill it out, and then submit it to my office. And then my staff would view it and make the determination as to whether those plates are available. You can go on our website in a couple of minutes, you will have those plates.
Wow.
And if by chance 1, 2, or 3 is not available, News 1, 2, or 3 is not available, then they will let you know that News 4, 5, or 6 are available. So it'll do some hunting for you.
Oh, so it's an intelligent site.
Yes.
That'll do the figuring. That's terrific.
We're using technology to our advantage. And the other thing is we have a program called ERT, the Electronic Transfer of Title, which means that when you go into a dealership, you purchase your automobile, all the information that the Secretary of State's office will need will be transmitted electronically from the dealership to our office in Springfield.
Oh, wow.
And then you'll be able to drive out with license plates on your car.
Wow.
The other thing that I should share with you, too, and that is, you know, our license plates are no longer made in the prisons.
Oh, you know what? I always wondered about that. If that's really true and that's really done that way, I guess it was.
Yes, the license plates are being made in Decatur, Illinois, by disabled people.
Oh, wow.
And the sticker that is to be affixed to the real license plate is made in a town called Freeburg, Illinois, by disabled people.
I think that's terrific.
Well, you know, we're giving these people an opportunity to become gainfully employed, and it's a known fact that they feel better about themselves and they can provide for themselves, and it's the right thing to do. And something else that we're going to do for the people of the state of Illinois, we've been working on a program called the kiosk machine. And at the beginning of the year, you will be able to go to a supermarket, a bank, or to the mall, and while you're out shopping and you have your renewal form with you, you can go to this machine, this kiosk machine, put it in, it will scan the bar, and then it will print your sticker, so you can leave that
Oh,
location,
wow.
go out and put it on your license plate.
That's fantastic. That's such a terrific convenience.
The other thing that we're proud of too, and that is we have done some special things for senior citizens and disabled and pregnant women. We've established an express line, so if you are pregnant, disabled, or you're a senior citizen, we will take care of you first.
That's terrific.
And then we did something else. We were instrumental in coming up with 3 disability placards. The blue placard, it means that you have a permanent disability. The red means that you have a temporary disability. And then, of course, the green will indicate that you are a transporter of people who are disabled.
Oh.
And then we put an identification number on the placard. And then, of course, we punched some holes into the material to let law enforcement know the age of the person and the sex of the person. And only law enforcement and people in my office know how to read it. Now, let me tell you how it works.
Yeah.
You have a young man, 26 years of age, who decided that he's going to take someone else's placard and park it downtown Chicago. And as he's getting out of the car, the officer says, "Young man, may I see your license?" "Oh, you're 26 years of age." He says, "Yes, officer." "Is that your placard?" He says, "Yes, officer, that's my placard." He says, "No, young man, that's not your placard." He says, "How do you know it's not my placard?" He said, "You're not 90 years of age and you're not a female." So it's called gotcha. And then we've been involved with placing Secretary of State Police at a lot of the venues, such as Soldier Field, the racetracks, etc. Disability parking is right near the entrance to most of these arenas. And so sometimes these individuals will use someone else's placard, park close to the arena, run out, go into the event, and then after the event is over, run back to their car, and the Secretary of State Police are there, and they ask, "May I have your license?" or "May I see your license?" And they realize that you are not the owner of the placard. Now, we went before the Illinois General Assembly, and we asked that whenever someone parks in a space that has been set aside for someone who's disabled, the fine should jump from $100 to up to $350. Now, if by chance you use someone else's placard and park in a place that's been set aside for someone who's disabled, then it's $500.
Wow.
And if by chance you happen to alter one of those placards, then the fine is $500, you lose your license, and you go to jail.
Wow.
It's called tough love.
That's not only tough love, but the truth of the matter is that's criminal what they're doing.
It's a violation of all laws of human decency for you to be able-bodied, and you want to take it upon yourself to park your car in a space set aside for someone who's disabled, and then, above all, use someone else's placard.
It's pretty low.
Yeah, when I came to the office, they used to pass the placards out like they would pass out candy, but not anymore. Because each placard has a number and an identifier on it, just like on a license plate. And so we know who the owner of that placard is.
I think that's terrific. I mean, when I was a kid, we used to be like MD license plates. And you'd see, instead of the doctor servicing somebody, the rich wife would just want to be able to park closer and not be bothered.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, I guess, the version of it in those days. But no, this is a very sophisticated way to see. I love the way you use technology in the office. It's really terrific.
Well, we're doing something else I think you should know about, too, and that is not far from here, there was a gentleman by the name of Representative D'Amico. He came to my office in December, or better yet, January. He indicated,
he's in the area just a little bit southwest of here, exactly.
So he wanted to know if I would assist him in changing the driving age from 16 to 18. I said, no, I cannot assist you with that because I'm a strong believer that 16-year-olds are capable of driving. In the northern part of the state of Illinois, we have adequate transportation. Southern part, they rely on motor transportation. And so I asked him what was the nature of his concern about changing the age, and he said these 4 young people who were involved with an accident, 2 died and 2 recovered from their wounds. And the family members and others have asked him to come to Springfield to change the driving age. I reminded him that we had a program called the Graduated Driver's License Program where the parents are required to spend 25 hours behind the wheel with their young person before we can give them the license. Of course, once they finish the 25 hours, then the parent would sign, indicate, I did spend 25 hours behind the wheel with my child. Now, we decided that we would double the drive time because we believe that when you give a young person more experience, he or she may become a better driver. So it's 50 hours behind the wheel, and of the 50 hours, 10 of those hours will be done at night. But we realized that that was not the silver bullet, because here in the state of Illinois, well, let's take the county of Tazewell County, outside of Peoria. Within the past 15 months, 15 young people have died.
Ooh.
One a month.
Wow.
Across this country of ours, 7,000 a year. Young people from 15 to 25. The cause or the reason for these people losing their lives is because of automobile crashes. Mm. So we want to give the young people more experience. So I decided to establish what is called the Illinois Graduated Driver's License Task Force. It consists of 27 of the sharpest minds and the sharpest people that you'll find anywhere, who know a lot about highway safety. They know a lot about teen driving, and some have been victims of, the family members have been victims of young people not having enough experience. And so they've lost their lives at an early age. And so one of the things that came out of the task, we had 3 hearings, well, 2 hearings, and we have one more coming up. One was in Springfield, Illinois. The other was in Carbondale. And then on October the 11th, we'll have our last meeting here in Chicago. And I submitted 3, what I consider to be good ideas. Other members are going to submit the rest of them, and we will deal with them on the 11th. One is, when you look at a 16-year-old and you compare that 16-year-old with a 30-year-old driving at night, the 16-year-old is 3 times more likely to have an accident than the 30-year-old.
Wow.
Tell you a little bit more. So we decided that we should maybe change the curfew hour for these young people from 11 o'clock at night to 10 o'clock at night. I also came with a suggestion that when they spend the 50 hours behind the wheel with a young person, it's usually right now done within a 3-month period of time. We want to stretch it out over a 6-month period of time, which will give them a chance to drive during the winter months, when there's snow on the ground, when there's sleet, when the roads are a little icy, so they can get a feel of what the real world is all about.
That's smart. I remember the first time I had to drive it. It's a different world, completely.
Yeah. Now, the last recommendation that I made, and that is, I was talking with a friend of mine. He helped me with this. He said, I have a contract with my son. And I said, well, fax that contract over to me. And I looked at it. It was nicely done, and I thought that this would be something good for us to make a part of our, graduated driver's license program. So we have been working on modifying the contract that he gave me, so that after the person has gotten their license, they sign the contract, and of course after they've signed the contract, then at the bottom, like the postscript, if by chance I violate the contract, you have permission to suspend me from driving the car for a week.
Oh, wow.
The second one could be for 2 weeks, third 3 weeks, and the fourth one could be for a month. Some of the things in the body of the contract would be, I will not drink and drive, and I will not be a distracted driver. I will not have too many young people in the car. I will not play loud music. I will not discard anything from the automobile. These things and more. I'll get to bring the car back around the curfew time. And so these things we believe will help the youngster to be more responsible while driving. Something else that is to be derived from the 50 hours, Avi, and that is these young people at the age of 16 have a tendency to stray away from the nest, so to speak. We believe if you're going to spend 50 hours behind your youngster, it's going to bring you a little bit closer together.
Oh, that's I never thought about that. But yeah, you're involved in a shared activity.
Oh, sure. It's called family bonding.
Yeah. You know, my father actually, he sent me to driving school twice because he was afraid that, he was actually afraid of teaching me how to drive, to be honest. I did have a temper in those days. I've tried to, hopefully I've lost it since. By the way, you did mention a name I just wanted to comment on, which was Representative D'Amico. I wanted to thank his brother Jim very much, who tried very hard to, we tried to get Alderman Stroger on the show before the election, and the timing just hasn't worked, so we're sorry about that. But I wanted to thank Jim D'Amico very much and Dennis Fleming, as well as Terry O'Brien, who made major efforts to try to get him on the show. Just the timing didn't work. He was going to be here the day of the big box, and unfortunately they had to stay later to vote and all that, and he missed that one. And this particular day, he just was overbooked, and we couldn't get him on. But I'm glad you reminded me, because I did want to thank Jim D'Amico publicly for his help.
Well, I want to try my hand with that, too.
Okay. Well, that'd be fine. I have no problem with that. And, yeah, you're, well, you know what people don't realize? You're also a ward committeeman, aren't you? Or?
Ward committeeman of the 27th Ward, and my alderman is Walter Burnett.
Oh, I know Walter Burnett, yeah.
Yeah, he's my guy. As a matter of fact, Walter was
That's the near west side.
It covers near north and near west. Walter was raised up at the Rockwell Garden Housing Project, and then his family and the rest of his family members were raised up in Cabrini Green. And I met Walter because his father was a precinct captain, my godfather and ward committeeman, and God rest his soul, George Dunn, my godfather.
I liked him very much.
Was the person who helped me to get into the political arena. He encouraged me to run for the position of state representative, and I represented probably the most diverse district in the nation: Lincoln Park, DePaul, River North, Streeterville, the Gold Coast area, Old Town, and the Magnificent Mile.
Yeah, I remember
and Cabrini Green.
When you were state rep, you could just walk 2 blocks and walk into a whole different world.
It's unbelievable. My district ran from Fullerton to the Chicago River, and then from Lake Michigan to the North Branch of the Chicago River. Then when you go down south and you are in some of the other representatives' districts, you find that you may cover about 3 or 4 counties to arrive at the 110,000 people that a representative will represent.
Yeah, you know, I actually worked in radio right after high school. I did play-by-play basketball, and I was in Grundy County. And Morse, Illinois, the main town had 7,200 people, and I think the whole county had 9,500.
Yeah, we were in Morse this last weekend for the Corn Festival. We performed there.
Yeah, there is good corn there. That is true.
That's right.
Yeah, I was the voice of the Morse Redskins and the Coal City Colors.
Oh, yeah. Well, matter of fact, we were on the same show with the on-Broadway street dancers who come from Coal City.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, our sponsor was the First National Bank of Grundy County. For 106 years, number 1 in Grundy County, and for 90 of those years, the only one in Grundy County.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
I'm sorry, so let's get back to the good stuff.
I also want your listening audience to know that Illinois leads the nation in the area of organ donation. We have over 6 million people who signed to become organ donors.
Wow.
And would you believe that a few months ago, we had a drive, actually it was a organ donor rally, and we did it at the New Salem Missionary Baptist Church, Reverend Meeks, and we signed up about 3,000 people. That is the largest sign-up ever in the history of this state or in this country.
That's amazing.
3,000 people. Well, let me continue on. 4,500 people on the waiting list as we speak here in Illinois, and 300 people die each year because organs have not arrived in a timely manner. I ask that when you're alive and well, give blood, and when you're no longer here, give organs. When you've done those 2 things, it will have made a positive impact upon society. As indicated
very important
before,
also, being a blood donor.
Yeah. You cannot have a successful transplant without an adequate supply of blood.
Yeah.
And one person can provide life or improve the quality of life for 25 individuals. We honored a teacher in New Lenox, Illinois. She gave us her kidney. We honored a doctor at Loyola Hospital. She gave a patient a kidney. And I was reading where this doctor in Pennsylvania was operating on this patient, and they had run out of this particular type blood, and he was the only one in the hospital who had it. He went next door to the next room. The blood was extracted from his veins and inserted into the body of his patient, and that was a successful operation and recovery. I have a personal friend, who passed away about 1.5 years ago, and 9 of her organs were used for transplantation purposes.
Wow.
About 4 months ago, one of my former tumblers was shot and killed coming out of the Ford City Mall Theater, and 6 of his organs were used for transplantation purposes. I mean, many times we think in terms of someone who has rescued someone from a fire, extricated someone from an automobile crash, saved someone from drowning. We look upon those individuals as a hero. But when you think in terms of 9 organs to save someone else's life and 6 organs, and then you can give up to 25 organ and tissue parks to improve the quality of life or give someone else a second chance in life. I think that those people should be classified as heroes as well.
It's amazing because you mentioned that there's more and more all the time. I know that even things like ACLs and tendons, ligaments. I mean, I've got a friend who's close to 60 who still plays basketball every week, and when he tore his ACL and needed a new one, I was,
I hope you're not talking about Fred Rosa.
No. I got to tell you, he must have got. He's jumping higher than ever. I mean, I don't know whose ACL he got, but.
But let me share with you how the new way in which we get people involved with the organ donor program. In the past, when you come into one of our facilities, we'd ask you, would you like to become an organ donor? If you say yes, you sign on the back of your driver's license, have 2 individuals sign on as witnesses. Then you would talk it over with your family members so that when that moment arrived, there would be a smooth transition. And we realized that 20% of the people who were eligible to give organs, they had passed away or were on life support. Their family members at the last moment said, no, don't bother him, don't bother us. Because of the stress of the moment, maybe because of the thought of losing the loved one, maybe they made that decision. We introduced a bill in the General Assembly to get involved with a program called First Person Consent, which means that when you sign up to become organ donor, to be an organ donor, you are going to be an organ donor. And we will not have to have the discussion with the family members because this is something that you said, I want done. For example, if you make that living will, you say, well, I want to be buried at this particular cemetery. I want this particular minister or rabbi to preside. I want you to sing these songs. And I want these kinds of flowers. And so the thing is, normally you would respond to the person's wish or wishes, and we found that some people just did not follow through.
A person's wishes, it's such an important thing if a person, if that's what they wanted to be followed through on.
Oh, sure.
Definitely. By the way, speaking of good people, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention him. I want to say a special hello to Dave Drucker, and I want to thank him very much for his help in always getting the Secretary of State on the show. We're really grateful and we appreciate. And good luck with the knee, and and get yourself nice and healthy. And we look forward to seeing you. Actually, he's the only public relations person I've ever put on a show. He's such an interesting person, and he is such a gentleman.
He's wonderful, and Dave and I have worked together for many, many years. And if you talking about knees, I had 2 put in almost 2 years ago at the same time.
Oh, wow. Did you have the non-invasive, the one that...
No. I had the TP. That's called a total package.
Yeah. Oh.
And now I can leap tall buildings with a single bound.
Yeah.
And I was...
and you're with the tumblers. I mean, you're active physically, very active.
For 5 years, I put off having it done. And for anyone in the sound of my voice or in the part of this viewing audience, if you have pain and suffering and you need surgery to correct that particular ailment, do it and do it now. I put off for 5 years, and my quality of life went down the tube. And now my quality of life has greatly been improved as a result of the surgery.
I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
Glad to hear that. And speaking of the tumblers, why don't we let people know a little bit about what the tumblers are up to these days?
Well, would you believe that I've been with the team, been the coach and founder for exactly 47 years?
Wow.
And we've had over 10,600 young people to come through the program within the 47-year period of time. In the last count, only 96 had gotten themselves in trouble with the law. It's been after combat juvenile delinquency. Last year, we functioned with 5 units, and we did 1,060 shows. And this year, we'll do about 1,500 shows. And during the 47-year period of time, I've taken the young people to Tokyo, Japan, to appear on Nippon television on 3 occasions, to Hong Kong for the Chinese New Year, Bermuda for an international festival, 17 times to Canada. And we've been involved with making 3 movies and 23 commercials. You can be a good athlete. We also want you to be a good human being. So we have 20 young people in college and 3 at the Cohen Institute of Technology. We want them to become better educated and better informed. And when you have individuals who are educated, then of course you're going to get a better product.
And I don't think there's any question. You know what? I've seen the tumblers over the years. Remember the old Taste of the 50th Ward? We used to film the tumblers. You see the manners, the way they conduct themselves. They're well trained. You do a great. To say you do a great job is understating it.
Yeah, thank you. There's life after tumbling, so we're preparing these young people so they could help run this great country of ours. And we also talk a lot about not disliking anyone because of race, creed, or color. We don't, or disliking. We don't want them to dislike anyone because of race, creed, or color. We believe that is there in this card of deck. They should not ever play that one. And then we spend a lot of time reminding them that they have to be in school on time every day and have one aim in mind. Let's get the best education possible, because they, like others, will help run this great country of ours. We want to make sure we put them in a posture by which that can occur. And then Abraham Lincoln Marovitz swore me in twice as a Cook County Recorder of Deeds. I was looking for someone to swear me in, so I've known the justice for a long period of time. So on 2 occasions he swore me in.
Oh, that's terrific.
And God rest his soul, a great human being.
He was a remarkable individual, very remarkable and very unique.
Yes. He was a mensch.
That he was, but you're a landsman.
That's right.
Just so people know, he's definitely. Yeah, we had a conversation before we started about the difference between mensch and landsman. He knows exactly.
Yes. But by the way, we do a lot of bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs.
With the tumblers?
With the tumblers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
After the lighting of the candles, well, then that's when we do our thing.
Interesting.
And then we do a little horror, too.
Well, as a matter of fact, I know that I've seen the group at the JCC, depending on what Jewish festival is occurring, and in different places in the neighborhood. And as a matter of fact, when there's an outdoor festival, the tumblers are often invited and considered a star attraction around here. For
predominantly all Jewish audience, I think we probably do about between 45 and 50 shows a year.
Well, I believe it. I know every time Lubavitch has a festival around here, they always get you guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're big fans, and it shows good taste on their part, I'll say that.
Well, thank you.
As a matter of fact, speaking of good taste, I do want to give people your basic election information, too. I mean, there is still a number. I mean, first of all, the early voting is you can vote early.
Yes.
Not often, but early. And I think it's up to October 31st.
Yes.
And it's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and on Saturday and Sunday, it's 9 to 12. And in this particular neighborhood, West Rogers Park, it's at Warren Park, which is at 6600 North California at the Field House. And Jim Nelly's been on the show talking about, the new touchscreen voting, and we'll be on again. We'll have a live show October 22nd that I don't want you to miss. October 22nd between 10:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. And as a matter of fact, we'll have all sorts of important people calling in, like the Secretary of State, Jesse White. And don't forget, too, the Jewish Chicago is coming out October 27th. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a quick tip on what's coming up in advance. He's being endorsed in Jewish Chicago for Secretary of State. So I personally know the publisher, and he's got really good taste that way.
Thank you.
So,
and by the way, thank you for that those kind words. October the 10th is the last day a person could get registered to vote. And so we would hope that they would get out and get registered and then come out on November the 7th or the early voting and discharge their civic responsibilities. The water that you drink, the air that you breathe, the medicine that you use, the food that you consume, those things and more. Someone who's been elected to office has had something to say about it. And so it's important for you to, number one, know who your representatives are, get registered, and come out and discharge your civic responsibilities. And if you don't vote, you lose your gripe rights. Cannot complain about anything in society.
That's absolutely right.
Shame on you.
You know what? And even if you miss that deadline, register anyway, because you'll be able to vote next election. We've got elections coming up around the corner.
Then the other thing is, I believe that they can take some form of identification, and they can get involved with, I think it's called provisional voting. They can just hold it in advance, but they can vote. They'll just hold and can count your vote later on.
Right, and if people do want to vote for you, and by the way, if you don't want to vote for Secretary of State Jesse White, you got the problem. But you've got a punch number.
Number 11.
Oh, number 11. That's a lucky number. That'll work.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to make sure you punch 11, not physically. It's not even punching. You don't punch, you touch, or it's going to be computer voting.
To touch it, I think you punch.
There's supposed to be a touch screen at every single voting station. And in any event, we've got about 20 seconds, so I want to thank very much our guest, Secretary of State Jesse White. Make sure you press number 11, however it works on Election Day. I want to thank my entire technical crew, Sonny Hersh. Join us on the web, www.ntnm.org. You'll be able to see all this stuff on the web. And if one of your friends missed the show, dial us up, ntnm.org, and you can see Secretary of State Jesse White. Thank you so much for being here, and all the best of luck to you.
Thank you very much, Javi.
Thank you.